Hi, hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to this channel. How is life going on? Today, I will talk about the important concept that is called multipath feeding. All right. So, let me write the equation for multipath components. So, as we know that multipath is nothing but multiple components of the signal present at the receiver, right? So, let's say there is a transmitter and we have the receiver. So, signal would travel multiple directions to reach the receiver. So the signal received at receiver y of t is given by y of t is equal to uh, so first component, which is x1 of t plus x2 of t xl of t, right? So this I am considering is x1, this is x2, and this is the L, where L is number of multipath components. Now we know that the signal which is traveling in the direction of in the direction of x1, so we can write it as got amplitude a1 and x of t minus tau 1, right? It has got its own delay tau 1 and it would undergo its own attenuation or path loss, which is a1. So the transmitted signal will be, let's say, x of t. Similarly, for x2 of t, we can say there is a different path loss and the delay would be different. So similarly, the last component. So here we had noticed that a1 is greater than a2, that is greater than al, right? Because the signal which travels longer distance would go more attenuation, and hence this relation holds good. And the one which travels longer distance will have the time will be more. So this is the relation for the delay, right? Now let's talk about the signal x of t. So x of t is the one which is transmitted from the transmitter, right? So how does this signal look like? How can we write the signal? So we can write the signal as uh, the xb of t, which is a baseband signal, and then we actually multiply it with the cos omega ct, and this would be transmitted over the over the air, right? Basically, it's like you do all baseband processing, and after baseband processing, um, now you actually multiply it with local oscillator, which is cos omega ct. Your fc is your center frequency, or you can say carrier frequency, because this is the one which is going to carry your baseband signal over the air. So, and this is transmitted. Now let us see this baseband signal. So baseband signal xb of t. So if you draw the frequency, I would say frequency spectrum or frequency plot. So which is xb of f, which is nothing but your fft of xb of t, right? So this is the frequency, and this frequency is equal to 0. Usually the representation in the textbooks would be it would look something like this. Okay, symmetrical around the center frequency 0, or you can say it's a DC frequency. So this is a signal which we are supposed to transmit, but this signal, as you know that if you are going to transmit this directly over the air, you need a very huge antenna. So this signal will be um, moved to the center frequency, something like this. So this is your FC, right? This was your F is equal to 0. This you can say amplitude. Now, but to do this operation, what do we do? Like we know this is xb of t, right? Uh, so let's say this is called as a passband signal. Uh, so passband signal, I would say xp of t. So this is nothing but okay. First we need to write it in a frequency domain. Let's say uh, xp of f is equal to xb of f minus fc. Agreed? If we do this operation, the signal present at the f is equal to 0 will be shifted to uh, f is equal to fc. But if we want to write it in the time domain, so then we need to do FFT operation. So this will be looking like something like xb of t e to the power of j 2 pi fct. Correct? So how did we get this equation? So like if we do the IFFT operation of this, then the shift in the frequency would result in a phase shift in the time domain. Okay, but usually how are we going to transmit, as we mentioned uh, in this slide, which is xp of t into cos omega ct, right? This is the one which we are going to transmit. But from here what we got is this particular equation. So from here to get the equation mentioned, what do we need? Xp of t is nothing but your real part. You take the real part of this xp of t, so e to the power of j 2 pi. You will get the equation, which is nothing but your xp of t into cos omega ct. All right. So now we have that. So we can write the equation at the receiver, which is y of t. So this is nothing but a real component of xp of t. Okay. So xp of actually t minus tau 1, the first component, then it is power of j 2 pi f of t minus tau 1. Similarly, we can write the last component, so which is xb of t minus tau l, it is power of j 2 pi fct into t minus tau l. Now here we have one condition or one approximation, which is this. So xb of t minus tau 1 can be approximated to xp of t. So this is nothing but a narrowband approximation. Please go through the textbook to understand more about it. But this narrowband approximation, we have certain condition. I would like to mention that. So what is the condition? So the condition is 1 by fc. So this delay tau l. So let's take the maximum one, which is tau l. So this is the frequency of the baseband signal. This is the carrier frequency. So if the tau L satisfies this equation, we can do this narrowband approximation. All right. So let us say we have done the narrowband approximation. So now, how does our equation look? So our equation would look like y of t is equal to, uh, we can take out the common terms, right? So it would be xb of t e to the power of j 2 pi fct. Okay. Then this is real part of this. Then we would get summation of I is equal to 1 to L e to the power of j 2 pi fc into tau I. So we have missed one more term here. What is that term? That is, in each and every component, in the first equation, if you see, in each and every component we have this amplitude factor that is missed in this equation. So if we write that here, which is a1, and here it comes al, so we can write ai. So now clearly, what is this component? So this is the extra component, right, apart from the signal. So this component is nothing but the complex factor or the phase factor. All right, this can be even treated as carrier offset. This is mainly arising due to the delay or multipath component. So now from this equation, uh, if we want to take out now if you want to take out the baseband received signal. So how does it look like? So we had y of t is equal to real part of xb of t e to the power of j omega ct. Then we had this component summation I is equal to 1 to L al e to the power of j fc tau high, right? So from here, if we take the baseband component yb of t, this will turn out to be, so xb of t summation I is equal to 1 to L al e to the power of j 2 pi f. So what is this component called? This is nothing but your channel coefficient. So we can write it as h into xb of t. So where this h will constitute as wireless fading channel. So but I just want to give the different perspective to this, that is um, so when we have transmitter and receiver, okay, let us if I look back to the equation over here, we see that this is called as a complex factor, right? Even we mentioned it as a phase factor. So the phase of the signal is getting changed, and because of which we see the fading phenomena. For that only I want to give a different perspective. So let us consider for now just the two paths. Okay, whenever you want to learn some complex concept, you can simplify that with just smaller number of variables, and you can try to see the concept. So here I am considering just the two two paths. Okay, so now the concept is phase variation phase variation happening at the receiver due to multipath component. So we know that, see, this is the cos signal, right? This signal, the entire thing from year to year constituted of 360-degree, whereas at this point it is 180-degree, at this point it is 90-degree, like that. Now this is also represented by this particular distance represented by lambda. So if a signal travels the distance of lambda, then it will get back to its original phase 0-degree. But if it travels lambda by 2, then we'll have 180-degree phase shift, and if it travels by lambda 4, then we will have 90-degree phase shift, right? So let's say this is having the distance of lambda, which is coming here. The signal will reach here with a 0-degree phase shift, and let's say this is lambda plus lambda by 2. So this will travel and reach the signal with 180-degree phase shift, and for now, let's say the both the signals are same. Okay. Let's say even for some reason, let's say even the amplitude are same. So what happens if amplitude are same and the same signal will reach here with 180-degree phase shift? So the first signal will be x1, and the second signal will be minus x2. Sorry, that will also be minus x1. So the received signal y will be effectively 0 if we have 180-degree out of phase, right? So this is nothing but your destructive interference. Now let's say both the signal, let's say this has traveled another lambda by 2, which is actually 2 lambda, in which case rather than 180-degree, this will also reach at 0-degree phase shift. So in which case your y will be x1 plus x1, which is equal to 2x2, sorry, x1 plus x1, which is equal to 2x1, and this will be like a constructive interference, right? So this is destructive. Now this phenomenon of phase change, due to the phase change at the receiver, um, the received signal will undergo either constructive interference or either destructive interference. There can be partial constructive, there can be partial destructive. So basically, if you see the signal over a period of time, okay, versus amplitude, or you can say SNR, then if at some point if there is a constructive interference, then let's say there is a very good amplitude or SNR, then there can be a variation. So there will be a variation in the SNR received at the receiver due to multipath components, due to partial constructive interference or partial destructive interference, and this concept of the received signal varying SNR or varying amplitude is nothing but the fading phenomena in wireless communication due to multipath. So this fading mainly depends on how the phase is playing at the received signal. Okay. So I hope you got multipath fading. So multipath fading, I want to summarize the definition once for all. So multipath fading is nothing but the signal at the receiver end undergoes a variation in the SNR, received SNR, uh, which depends mainly on the multipath components, um, or which you can say depends on the phase of each multipath component. So it could be a very good SNR under constructive interference scenario, or it could be a very bad SNR under destructive interference scenario. So this is nothing but the fading, multipath fading concept in wireless communication. So that is modeled by the channel coefficient H. We will see how um, this is modeled. Okay, how this is modeled in terms of distributions in the upcoming video. Thank you for watching. Please do subscribe if you like this video. Bye bye, take care.